Perfect.
Hey guys, it's your boy Red One back at it again. I want to thank you for taking time to tune into my channel. Please like and subscribe and leave comments. I will get back to anybody who leaves comments on these videos. This video is going to showcase the LED marquee holder and sign that I created for my Street Fighter II cabinet. I got the inspiration to create my own LED marquee when I saw fellow YouTuber The Horror Vault create his own for under $30. After seeing his video, I went straight to the store right after I left work and bought the tools to create my own sign. In this video, you will see the tools that I bought, the steps I took to create my own LED marquee sign, and the finished product. In these clips that you're seeing here, it is actually the finished product, but we will get into it and you will see how I was happy at the end of this video once I completed my own LED marquee sign. Thank you. This first image basically shows all of the tools that I will be showing in this video. I got the marquee sign and basically all of the tools you see here from Walmart, except for the exception of the dowels and the razor blade, the Craftsman razor blade, and the chisel tool. Everything else I got from Walmart. I ended up not using the black paint that you see in the picture. And so the black paint and the paint brushes I didn't have to use. But everything here I got from Walmart and Lowe's and home improvement stores. And it was just a very simple project to complete. I proceeded by taking out some white pieces of notebook paper. And the marquee sign that's already on the Arcade1Up cab is basically 17 5/8 inches by 5 inches, I believe. And so what I did is I actually just took the piece of paper and put it up there at the sign and just traced it out. It made it easier than just sitting there trying to do some simple measurements. And so what you can see here in this image is the actual piece of paper that I cut out after getting my measurements, after putting it up against the Arcade1Up cabinet. I then took the traced out piece of paper and took the picture frame and took it apart. And the picture frame, you know, it comes with a cardboard backing. All I did was took the piece of paper, put it up against the cardboard backing, and traced it out. I then took a razor blade, which is my Craftsman razor blade that I got from Lowe's, and just went around the outside edges of those lines that I traced to cut out the backing of the LED marquee sign. You actually can see from this image, you probably could get 2 more backings cut out. And so you can do a lot with just one picture frame. You want to make sure that your cardboard actually looks okay. The backing, you can just take it and put it up against the existing marquee that's on the Arcade1Up system. As you can see, my cutout actually fits snug in between there. So I know I had the right measurements, and I then proceeded from there to continue on with my project. I did go ahead and make an extra copy of the backing, just in case I wanted to do another one later on. I would already have it cut out, or just in case I messed up on this one, I at least had 2 cutouts already completed. What you would do next is you're going to take your 5/8 by 36 inch wooden dowels and you're going to mark them to match the measurements of the cardboard backing that you just made for your LED marquee sign. What you see here in the image is I have a small saw that I use to cut where I marked off the points on the wood dowel. I actually bought 2 wooden dowels. And so once again, I bought these extra parts so I could actually create 2 signs if I wanted to. I had some sandpaper on hand, so I took that sandpaper and just to smooth out the edges after I cut the dowels in half. And I took the hammers just to hammer down the edges also. It just helps to smooth out the borders. It makes it easier for when you put it up against your Arcade1Up cab, that you're not scratching the existing wood that's there. So having it smoothed off on the sides, you can actually move it around and slide it into place. Before you proceed, it would be best if you took your wood dowels, go up there and make sure that it fits snug and you have the direct measurements against your Arcade1Up existing marquee. Once you have those measurements and you make sure that it actually fit, you can proceed to the next step of the project. The horror vault, the one that I got inspiration to create this LED marquee board from, he actually painted the back, painted the cardboard with black matte paint. And I decided to just take aluminum foil that you see here and just cover the backing. I figured it would help with reflecting the light once I put the LED marquee lights inside of the borders once I added the borders. And so you can do it the way you want. I just chose to put aluminum foil on my cardboard backing. What you're going to do next is take the wooden dowels that you have cut and make sure that their measurements line up with the cardboard backing that you have now covered in aluminum foil or painted. Once you make sure that those match up okay, you can take the mini glue gun and use that hot glue to attach those wooden dowels to the backing. What you want to do next is take the clear overlay that came with your picture frame and you want to cut its measurements to match the cardboard backing also. We could have went on ahead and did this in previous steps, but I don't have a lot of pictures of when I cut that one. And so, but you can see it sitting here right at the top of the backing. And so you just want to make sure that you have an overlay cut just for that same measurement so that you can use that to cover your vinyl sign in the later steps. You also want to take your part of your picture frames and you want to cut them to make sure that they match the top and bottom of the wooden dowels. Just make sure you cut them at an angle because you're going to also cut borders that's going to fit in between those angles to finish off the left and right side of the LED sign later on. To make sure that your wooden dowels stay attached to the cardboard, you want to flip it over and make sure you take a stapler gun and just go along the borders and just put a few staples in there. That way that the wooden dowels will stay attached to the cardboard and you don't have to worry about them coming off. The hot glue just helped to keep them there for this step. So when you got here, you didn't have to worry about them moving around too much and trying to hold them in place. But what you want to do is go ahead and staple those down and it will keep them nice and firm. At the top right of one of the wooden dowels, you're going to take a chisel tool and chisel out a notch. You want to use this notch to take the LED light strip, which I think I should have included this in previous steps. You're going to need an LED light strip, and you can also get that from Walmart also. Just throw that in here real quick. And you're going to take that LED light strip, and you're going to be using that to feed through the hole that you chisel out at the top. As you can see here, once you have chiseled out a hole at the top of that wooden dowel, or you can take a drill, or whatever way you find best to be able to put a hole through that wood. You can then feed the LED light strip through the top of that wood to run along the inside edges and borders of the frame. At this point, you want to have already cut your left and right picture frames out to match the top and bottom borders. That way that you can have an edge for your LED marquee box. Once you have cut out those edges, you can then take those and also hot glue those down also. Now, they're not going to have anything to really sit up against because you don't have wooden dowels going in between there. And so what I ended up doing is I used the hot glue to kind of hold it there in place. But I then took some black electrical tape and went around those edges to keep them there in place. That clear overlay, you can slide through the notches that will actually sit and cover your vinyl marquee sign once you get one. In this image, you can see where I had completed my LED marquee sign holder. I went ahead and put it up against the Arcade1Up cab to just make sure that it looked okay and that it worked. I was still waiting on my vinyl sign to come in the mail. I got it from a guy on eBay who actually creates different signs for all of the Arcade1Up cabs and some custom signs. Since I have a Street Fighter II Champion Edition cabinet, I went ahead and just bought a Street Fighter II Champion Edition vinyl. And so the hard part of this was just waiting on my sign to come in the mail, because I had already completed my LED Marquee sign holder. And so I just had to wait for it to come in the mail. But once I got it in the mail, I took my sign, just slid it into the notches, and just put that clear overlay over there. And then went on ahead and added my right edge to the LED Marquee sign holder. You then at that point can just go around with black electrical tape to hold everything in, and you have a completed sign. In the next video, you will see me completing my sign and actually attaching it to the cabinet. And I was just happy at that point. I was glad that this was completed. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you. Peace. All right, so here's my marquee. I have now put it inside the frame. And remember, before I showed you how it's basically just a cutout frame with the picture frame holders going around the outside. And I cut out that little plexi from the picture frame, made it the same size as the actual Street Fighter Marquee, which is on the system. And I'm going to replace this with it. And there's a little light strip running in through there. And all I did is went around with some black tape. It's not perfect. It's not the best looking thing. And you're not really, I did this under less than $30. And I think it came out pretty well. I mean, this is something simple. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this on the Arcade1Up. And until they come out with something better or anything different, this is pretty much a very simple thing that any of us can do. What I'm going to do is, for me, once you put it up there and get it in there, it's in there. But I'm going to take a screw and unloosen one side, and this is how I do it. And so I basically loosen one side and I get it up there and fit it in between. This helps it to basically slide open. And if you cut this out right, it should easily just fit right in there. And you can see it fits right in there. Once you got it in there where you want it, just tighten this back up and it will hold it. And it's not much more you have to do after that. This is actually sitting in there nice and snug. You will take your cord at that point and just plug it in. And so I'm going to plug this into what I have as an extra USB port down here. And my computer just detected that. And there you go. I mean, it's on. That is a Marquee on the system actually running. Let me turn out the lights. Hey Google, computer room lights off.
Sure, turning the computer room light off.
And so that's the system with the marquee on it. You know, it looks crazy. I got Marvel vs. Capcom still sitting at the beginning screen. Let me get my remote, and what I'm going to do is play with the colors a little bit. Right now it's just on like a flashing mode. You could just put it like on white and leave it that way, and so then your marquee is just lit up on a certain color. Red is my favorite color, so you could make it red, and it could basically go along with the whole Arcade1Up look. So I have the colors there. I also have the lights that are going on under the bottom. And so I had lights going underneath the marquee also before I actually had them in the actual marquee. Let's try out some other colors. So you got this do blue. That looks really nice. And you like I say, you can play with the modes. That's a flashing mode. I mean, it's really fast, but you can see it's actually working. It's a little fast though. This is a strobe, and I think that's what it was on when I first started. And so, is that like we're going into the game or whatnot? You can see the marquee with it. Put it on fade. Fade will actually go through the sign a little bit slower. Let's do smooth. I don't know why that's called smooth. That looks a little bit more like Speed Racer. But either way, this is pretty neat. And like I say, you can play around with the colors, put them in different colors. You know, find the style that you like. You can see my marquee at the bottom is actually, lights at the bottom are actually changing with whatever color I put it on. But there you have it. I now have a marquee on the Arcade1Up system. Have lights going around the bottom. You probably see my speaker sitting there to the side that I have everything going through. It's basically sound activated. But there you go. Got to take that screwdriver out of the picture, but we wasn't focusing on that too much. Look at it from the side. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. I can sit there and play with the modes. It's just neat to just even see these modes as it flips through. So just to give you a look at how it looks from different angles.
Perfect.